What's going on, guys? In today's video we're going to go over Cleanspark's Bitcoin mining update. It just dropped today as of this upload, so we're going to look at their numbers there. We're also going to look at Cleanspark on the chart. We may have just avoided more downfall. I'm also going to feature a clip from Cleanspark on their Sandersville site, and we're going to look at what Bitcoin's doing on the chart as well. Bitcoin just recently broke out past 35,000. However, we did just retrace right into the 34,000 area, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Now let's get started on this video. And here's Cleanspark's October mining update, and I will leave it down below for you guys in the description, along with some links to some free stocks and cryptos. But I'm pretty happy with this update. There are some things I'm not as happy about, and we'll talk about that in a second here. But in October, Cleanspark mined 633 Bitcoin, and they increased their Bitcoin holdings to 2,311 Bitcoin. Their hash rate surpassed 10 exahash per second, with nearly 89,000 miners currently operational. And Zach Bradford, the CEO, says our recent achievement of 10 exahash with nearly 89,000 operational machines demonstrates our ability to maximize efficiency to produce more hash rate using the same amount of energy. Energy and capital efficiency are paramount to our operations. A combination of software optimizations and hardware upgrades have led to impressive gains in our total hash rate without requiring additional power at our existing sites. Our fleet-wide efficiency is now estimated at 27.32 joules per terahash, and with the ongoing arrival of the new XPs and the Antminer S21s we ordered in October, we expect to continue to build on these accomplishments across one of the largest and most efficient mining operations in the industry. And sorry if I sound a little off, guys, my household has been continuing to pass colds around. 'Tis the season. But continuing on, our expected efficiency of 23.5 joules per terahash once all new machines are deployed not only reduces operational costs, but it also ensures we're well prepared for the Bitcoin halving next year. We're proud of our data-driven achievements and remain committed to embedding efficiency throughout our operational framework. Now, if you guys watched my last video, we talked about how they're getting these more efficient Bitcoin miners, which is going to help them in terms of joules per terahash, which basically boils down to they're going to be more operationally efficient. The energy costs of the Bitcoin mined will be less due to these more efficient miners. Now, looking at this Bitcoin mined in October, we had 633, whereas in September, we were at like 640 something. So October was right around the same as September. We didn't see huge Bitcoin mining growth necessarily, but we did see Bitcoin increase in price, which is positive. And despite rising difficulty, Cleanspark from an energy standpoint is continuing to increase their hash rate with more efficient miners. And they should be increasing their hash rate overall very soon as Sandersville continues to make progress. And I will show you guys a video revolving around that site. But continuing on their current year 2023 Bitcoin mined, they're looking at 6,005. That's a new record for the year and much more than in 2022. Now, their total Bitcoin holdings as of October 31 is 2,311. They continue to add to their HODL balance, although they did sell quite a bit this month. They did sell 562 Bitcoin in October at an average of 28,600. They must have sold this very early in October, and it's a bit unfortunate they didn't sell at an average above 30,000, for example. But these sales of Bitcoin equated to proceeds of approximately $16 million, which is a pretty good amount in 1 month considering they're also adding to their HODL. Their October daily Bitcoin production was an average of 20.42 and a high of 22. It's good to see their average back above 20 again. Now, I will show you guys that video clip, but I also want to mention Sandersville. They do have an update on it in text, and no serious delays have been reported in Sandersville. Site construction remains on track for an expected year-end completion, and they have some updates including steel and roof structures for buildings 1 and 2, 3 complete. Racks have also been installed for these buildings, what you would be basically putting the machines on, and most of the conduit has been installed site-wide, and the majority of concrete has been poured for the remaining buildings. However, we are probably still looking at a delay due to the power companies. They're not reaching that 16 exahash by year end. But the Vice President of Growth, Scott Garrison, says, "I'm pleased to report that construction is on schedule for our Sandersville expansion. Over the coming weeks, the remaining structures are expected to rapidly pass through various stages of construction as multiple trades work together to build what we believe will be the largest digital asset data center in Georgia." I hope you enjoyed that YouTube clip. I will leave their YouTube page down below. They do give updates from time to time, but you can see that progress is being made at Sandersville. And in the beginning of 2024, we will get to that 20 exahash now. And who knows where they'll get by the end of 2024. Could they be at 30? It's very possible. But from a hash rate to market cap perspective, Cleanspark is much more attractive than Riot, Mara, and many other Bitcoin miners. You would have to go to the drastically smaller small caps to find a Bitcoin miner that's better in terms of hash rate to market cap. But looking at Bitcoin on the chart, you'll see that we did pop pretty nicely here yesterday, all the way nearly to 36,000. However, throughout today, we've been kind of cooling off a bit. The good thing here is that Bitcoin on the RSI is starting to level out. We're still overbought, but we are getting closer and closer to not being overbought as we remain right around 35,000. And I've said this before, but I would be okay with Bitcoin dropping to roughly 32,500, let that RSI reset, get back to neutral, and then we can see a nice pop past 36,000. But to me, it tells quite a lot that even now the RSI is still overbought, hasn't sold off dramatically from its recent run up towards the $35,000 area. To me, everything's coming together beautifully. We have potential spot Bitcoin ETFs coming along. We have the halving just around the corner, less than 200 days away. And Bitcoin's chart does look bullish. You can see that we had our golden cross just a few days ago, which indicates that we have been trending in the right direction. And looking at the EMAs, we are in the correct order there as well, a bullish order. And after Bitcoin's break past 33,000, we have basically been range bound, just trading sideways, letting that RSI cool off, which is exactly what we want to see. We don't want to see a just continued push to where we become so overbought that we pull back hard. It is good to see this consolidation, and that gives us the groundwork for our next push up and utilizing this as the future support. And I gotta say, I would not be in the least bit surprised if throughout November we see Bitcoin get towards 37,000, dare I say touching 40,000. You can see back in 2022, back in summer, when we were pulling back so hard during that bear market, we really didn't trade in the range from like 30 to 37,000. We really just like barely bounced around there. Sold off pretty dramatically. So us trading sideways here is giving us the potential to utilize this as a future support. And you'd be surprised how quickly we can go from low 30s to the high 30s based on this previous history, this previous price action. Typically, we're going to just pop huge from 33 to about 37,000. Otherwise, it drops huge from about 37 to 33. We really don't have a range that we bounce around in between those areas. It's typically just break right through or break right through under. And of course, the past doesn't predict the future. We could bounce around, find resistance at 37, or just continue to bounce around from 35 to 37 and create new levels of support in the future. But for some reason, I do kind of expect that we're just going to bounce all the way up to 37 in short order. And by the end of November, I would not be in the least bit surprised to see Bitcoin right around $40,000. Now, looking at Cleanspark on the chart, we may have just avoided some more downfall. If it wasn't for this nice update here today, if we had a 6% down day, for example, we would be getting awful close to seeing a death cross. And because we're now trading above the 50 and 200 MA, we may have just avoided this death cross here. And let me show you something real quick. When you see this chart, it just looks very bearish. Looks like we're just going to continue down. However, when you zoom out to a longer time frame, you'll see we're still continuing on this trend we've been following since late 2022, back when Cleanspark bottomed out. Since then, this ascending trend line has not been broken. And I personally gotta say, I would really be surprised if we do see Cleanspark pull back and break this like $3 area. I just find it very unlikely. A lot of people are calling for Cleanspark to be much lower. A lot of people are getting disappointed saying, why is this not outperforming Bitcoin? Well, you know what? It has outperformed Bitcoin so far from its bottom. Cleanspark is up roughly 151%, where you have Bitcoin from its bottom roughly 126%. And while Cleanspark hasn't outperformed Bitcoin massively, you got to realize we're still very early in this bull cycle. A lot of people are still calling for 15,000. A lot of people are still uncertain that this is the beginning of the bull run. People are saying we're going to break back under 30, we're going to get to 25, I'll be able to buy again at 20, 25. What if that doesn't happen? There are so many people that probably missed out on Bitcoin from 15 to 30,000 because they just thought it was going to go lower. They thought maybe it was going to go to 12, or they were just too patient. I remember telling my buddy, hey, Bitcoin's under 20,000. You should really start picking it up. You should really start paying attention to Bitcoin. I think now is the time to really start buying, really buy heavily. And what did he tell me? Oh, I'll take a look at it. What did he end up doing? He didn't buy any. And now he's probably looking back at the chart saying, why didn't I buy at 20,000 and under? You could even be looking back now and say, why didn't I buy under 30,000? And a few months from now, you'll probably be looking at Bitcoin like, why didn't I buy under 50,000? But in my opinion, Cleanspark will outperform Bitcoin. We just have to get into that definitive bull run where people are finally convinced that Bitcoin is not going drastically lower. Bitcoin is actually going much higher. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks as always for watching, and do you think Cleanspark will outperform Bitcoin in this coming bull run? So far it's slightly outperformed, but as we start getting really rolling here, I do expect Cleanspark to have some really good days against Bitcoin. Where Bitcoin has a 5% up day, Cleanspark has a 10 to 15% up day. We are going to see it again. But thanks so much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.